Daniel Dye may have been reinstated by NASCAR, but he has been released by Calling Racing in the Truck Series. And let's check out my newest Cup Series power rankings. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Talkin NASCAR. I'm your host, Andrew. It's been a little while since I've talked here on this show. Been kind of taking it easy for the past week. Had Easter, obviously. Hope you all had a very happy Easter weekend. Hope you celebrated well if you're celebrating, actually. So we got a lot of stuff to cover in this episode. A lot of stuff even actually going back to the Darlington race weekend. I gotta kind of talk about the Darlington Cup Series race in brief sections here. So, yeah, I got a lot to talk about here in this one. So, it might be a pretty lengthy episode coming up in this one. But let's go ahead and start out with some Cup Series news. Casey Mears and Beard Motorsports have announced that Casey Mears will run 5 Cup Series races for the team in the number 62 Chevrolet Camaro coming up this season. This is all in Casey Mears' attempt to reach 500 career Cup Series starts this season. So Casey Mears, his first of the 5 races that he'll be running for Beard Motorsports will be coming at Talladega, coming up here in a couple of weeks, actually 20 days exactly from time of recording at Talladega. And his final race of that schedule will be on November 8th at the season finale at Homestead Miami Speedway, which will be Casey Mears' 500 career Cup start. He will also be making starts at the Indianapolis 500, or excuse me, the Brickyard 400 in July at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He'll also be running the Coca-Cola Zero Sugar 400 at Daytona, and then the second Talladega race, the Yellowwood 500 in October, also at Talladega. Casey Mears only just last competed in the Daytona 500 when he did a miraculous feat of racing into the Daytona 500 with Carl Long's Garage 66 team, just a small little team owned by former NASCAR Cup Series driver Carl Long. Small operation, has to lease engines from Ford. Again, I keep saying small operation, but it truly is. So, I mean, it's a miraculous feat that Casey Mears did. Went all for nothing in that Daytona dual race. Damaged the front end of his car, but was still able to get into the Daytona 500. Had to repair the damage, but got back out there for the 500 to get one step closer to 500 career NASCAR Cup Series starts. So, rooting all the best for Casey Mears. We'll see how he does in his 5 starts coming up very, very soon, starting at Talladega. This next story is from last week. This is going over to the Truck Series. Daniel Dye has been reinstated by NASCAR. He will be allowed to compete once again in NASCAR sanctioned races. However, even though he was reinstated by NASCAR, Calling Racing has announced that they are firing essentially Daniel Dye from the number 10 truck in the Craftsman Truck Series, and Corey LaJoie will be driving the remainder of the 2026 season in that number 10 truck. Let's just start here by talking about Daniel Dye. I would say Daniel Dye really has screwed it on this one. He's really screwed up here. Thinking realistically, this might be Daniel Dye's last real legitimate opportunity in NASCAR, because at this point, I don't know if any other team will be willing to take a chance on him. I mean, I at least right now, in this current stage here on April 6th, I just can't see another team giving Daniel Dye an opportunity. Who knows? Maybe he'll see out the rest of his, maybe his part-time schedule with AM Racing in the O'Reilly Series. But AM Racing just withdrew from the Rockingham race, and they did not show up this weekend. So there's some weird stuff going on with that team. So I mean, that could be the last opportunity that Daniel Dye had, and that could have just vanished real quick there. I mean, the results for Daniel Dye haven't been there in the Truck Series and the O'Reilly Series. The last year in his rookie season, it wasn't great. It wasn't good, and that was in Calling Racing equipment that was on the way out. It was a struggling team last year, but even still, it wasn't very good. He did show some flashes in some starts in 2024 in the O'Reilly Series, I believe driving for Calling as well. He did show some flashes of good speed, getting some top tens, but nothing besides that to really get excited about, and he hasn't really done anything in the Truck Series in pretty good equipment. Like, he drove for GMS in their final season, his rookie season. He drove for Bill McAnally's team in the 43 truck and didn't really show much there. So meanwhile, Christian Eckes was, dominating, having an incredible season. So I mean, it hasn't looked good for Daniel Dye over his career, and after being suspended and not really performing well, even in calling equipment with Ram, which are should be directly funded by Ram and Dodge, he just hasn't been good. He really hasn't. So, I mean, in the first place, Daniel Dye got that ride because I believe his father does own a Ram dealership. So I believe that's just like a family connection. So like that's how Daniel Dye got the ride, and he's still not performing. I mean, I just don't see anybody willing to take a chance on him. Like maybe because his father does own a Ram Ram dealership. Maybe he'll get another opportunity with another Ram or Dodge team that could pop up in the future. Maybe he can bring in enough sponsors to get another opportunity. So, and he was again reinstated fairly quickly, so it must have not been an entirely long process, and it must have not been a truly serious offense for him to go through. Unlike, I'm thinking of like Kyle Larson, I think he had to go through a little bit of a longer period. Cody Ware, I think, had to go through a pretty long and reinstatement process. So this must have not been as much as a serious offense in NASCAR's eyes. So maybe Daniel Dye can get another opportunity somewhere, but I just can't see it right now. So Daniel Dye might have really screwed himself over here with this suspension. Just another dumb example of drivers screwing themselves over. We've seen this many times, and Daniel Dye may be the next one on that list. And now looking at Corey LaJoy, though, on the other hand, I mean, one, this is kind of just funny from my perspective because Corey LaJoy, he's kind of just a divisive figure in NASCAR nowadays. He used to be a full time driver in the Cup Series, drove for a backmarker team with Spire, but then in 2023, Spire still not doing very good overall as a team, but Corey LaJoy kind of overachieving in that equipment, even getting himself a start for Hendrick Motorsports in the 9 car to fill in for Chase Elliott at Gateway. Did not perform there very well either. And then in 2024, when the Spire Motorsports team overall starts to improve, we see Carson Hocevar starting to make great strides in his performance. I believe we also saw, I believe Michael McDowell the next season has some good strides in that car, in the 71 car. Spire Motorsports is expanding. Like, Corey LaJoy just didn't show up though. He just really didn't. So he ended up losing his ride, traded midseason over to Rick Ware Racing, lost that ride at the end of the season, and was just kind of getting part-time schedules in the Cup Series with his own team, supported by Rick Ware Racing. And instead of choosing to drive full-time in the Truck Series or the O'Reilly Series, because he had offers for full-time rides, Corey LaJoy said, "Yeah, no, I'll pass." I mean, he gave the reason that his sponsors wanted to be on Sundays, racing on Sundays in whatever capacity he can, but I mean, it wasn't very often. Like he ran like a couple races early in the year in that 0-1 car, but then just didn't show up the rest of the year. Ended up taking a Truck Series ride with Spire the next season. So I mean, it, Corey LaJoy's just been very, very weird when it comes to this topic of running in the Truck Series. Like last year, Spire gave him that opportunity to 77. He took it, and now this year, it was the same thing again. He said, "Nah, I'm not actively searching for Truck Series rides." And then when this one comes along, he's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll go run in the Truck Series full time." So it's just Corey LaJoy, he's got a weird process going on here when it comes to the Truck Series. So it's kind of funny to see him again going to drive basically the full season in the Truck Series for Ram and Dodge. So I don't know what to make of this. I mean, Corey LaJoy, he should do good. It's, should be good equipment. He's a good driver, at least for the Truck Series. So we'll see how he does. But yeah, it's just super funny to see him back in the Truck Series once again with calling. So there you go. Daniel Dye out, Corey LaJoy in for calling racing in the 10 truck. Sticking with calling racing and Ram in the Truck Series, they just announced their next new driver in the number 25 free agent truck. It will be Carson Ferguson, the dirt late model driver who also appeared in Ram's Race for the Seat reality TV show. Who he was also a competitor for that number 14 truck that Minnie Tyrell ended up winning in that Ram Race for the Seat TV show. So Carson Ferguson, who came in second to Minnie Tyrell, will be getting that opportunity in the number 25 truck coming up this coming weekend in the number 25 truck at Bristol Motor Speedway. So, very exciting opportunity for Carson Ferguson, and I'll be excited to see what he does. Very good short track racer, very kind of calm guy, at least what we saw from the TV show. And I do believe as well, Carson Ferguson will be making another start at Martinsville later this season, in the fall. I believe the second Martinsville race for the Cup Series. So, the only Martinsville date for the Craftsman Truck Series. I believe he will be uh, in that truck as in the number 25 truck as well. So I could be wrong about that, but I do believe that will be the case. So exciting opportunity for Carson Ferguson. We'll see how he does for calling racing in the number 25 Ram 1500 at Bristol Motor Speedway this coming Friday. Moving on to another story that may not necessarily correlate to NASCAR this season, but maybe potentially in future years. A report just came out that CBS Sports is expected to merge with TNT Sports later this season, according to a report by Puck Sports. John Aurind, I believe I'm saying that name right. I apologize if I'm not, but it is expected that CBS and TNT Sports will be merging in the third quarter of the year, if all goes according to plan, according to CBS Sports president David Burson. This report and it would go into greater detail about the hurdles that Turner and Warner Brothers and Paramount would have to go through to, make have this deal go through and everything that has to go with it for this deal to go through. But it does sound like later this year this merger could be happening and not at this exact moment, but this is an expected merger. So while this does not necessarily have anything to do with NASCAR, because it did say in this report that TNT and Turner will not be broadcasting any of the NASCAR Cup Series races, the 5 races, this year on CBS. It will still be on TNT, but it will affect the MLB postseason games, possibly as well. So, but looking forward in the future, could there be a return for NASCAR on CBS, if this merger does go through? I mean, there's a chance if CBS Sports does become a TNT property. Who knows? I think anything is on the table there, but I don't know. It's a little interesting idea that kind of flew through my head, but who knows? We'll see how this merger affects the outlook of NASCAR's broadcasting style or broadcasting schedule going forward. Moving back up to the Cup Series side of things, Legacy Motor Club announced last week, I believe, that Darius Rucker, the Grammy Award winning country artist, has joined the organization's ownership group. Doesn't necessarily, probably correlate to on-track success for Legacy Motor Club, but, it's a cool storyline because Darius Rucker, he's been an active supporter of NASCAR, an active fan of NASCAR for a little while now. I believe he actually was a green flag waver in the Circuit of the Americas race a couple of years ago. Might have been in 24 or 22, maybe 23. I don't know. Somewhere in that range. So, I mean, really cool to see. I've listened to some of Darius Rucker's music, and I would say it's pretty good. So this doesn't necessarily, again, correlate to on-track success, but it's cool to hear that another big name in the music industry getting involved in NASCAR. I mean, we had Chris Stapleton partnering with Dale Earnhardt Jr. for a Daytona 500 effort just this year and last year as well. So it's really cool to see. And I believe Legacy Motor Club announced that they are announcing more investors um, in the near future for the team. They already brought on another investment group into the team. I believe last year. I forget their name. I'll have to look it up later. But yeah, it's a thing that's becoming common now. Investors investing in NASCAR Cup Series teams. A little bit harder for single owners to, hold on to ownership solely. It's maybe not as profitable. It's a little bit harsher on the pocketbook for that single owner. I mean, in the lawsuit for the 2311, the teams versus NASCAR, the antitrust case, we learned that Richard Childress Racing isn't owned by solely Richard Childress. It's owned by a firm in New York City. We also know that I believe Joe Gibbs Racing sold off their a stake in the team to the Harris Blitzer Group, the team that owns the Washington Commanders and the football team. So, uh, again, teams are selling off stakes to investment groups. So, but this is just a singular person. But it's interesting to hear that Legacy Motor Club is looking to sell more stakes possibly to other investors very very soon. So yeah, cool to see Darius Rucker investing in Legacy Motor Club. We'll see if any other investors invest in Legacy Motor Club. Sticking with the Toyota theme here a little bit in the Cup Series, according to The Athletic and several other sources, Tyler Reddick and 2311 Racing are close to a new contract extension, which to me isn't very surprising in my opinion. Maybe surprising to some of you, but to me, not very surprising to hear that. It would be surprising if I saw a report that said Tyler Reddick is not interested in returning to 2311 Racing. But yeah, unsurprising to me at least right now. So yeah, Reddick, the Daytona 500 winner. He's got 4 wins on the season, won the first 3 races in a row, just won Darlington. We'll get to that in just a little bit. So, Reddick's had a really good season after a rough 2025 campaign. It makes sense why both sides would be looking to possibly, you know, work back towards a new contract. 2311 Racing, Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin probably don't want to lose him, even though Reddick is probably the hottest free agent on the market now, getting as we get closer into the heart of silly season. Yeah, it just makes sense that 2311 Racing wouldn't want to lose him. Reddick probably doesn't want to explore any other options when he's having success with the team. But yeah, if we look at the broader silly season, though, this would be the first major domino and probably the biggest domino that would fall in silly season, the biggest name off the board. And at that point, who's left really in silly season? I mean, I use that as like a rhetorical question because obviously Kyle Busch is still there, Daniel Suarez is still there, some other names are in there as well, Alex Bowman as well. We have no idea what's going on with Bowman. He's in that conversation as well. So, but hearing this, I'm not surprised if Reddick does sign a new contract. I should maybe not. I shouldn't say if. When Reddick does sign a new contract extension with Michael Jordan's team, 2311 Racing, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, but this would certainly be the biggest name getting taken off the silly season board for this season. So we'll have to wait and see when it happens, but hopefully Reddick and 2311 Racing come to an extension soon. Uh, it's been a good partnership, and I feel like at this point, Reddick might be the only driver that can really, challenge the Gibbs, the Penskes, and the Hendricks for a championship at this point. So we'll see how this works out, and we'll be here live to react to it. I shouldn't say live, but we'll be here very soon after this contract extension goes through. Okay, now that we got most of the news out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the Darlington Cup Series race, the Goodyear 400. Technically a throwback weekend, the historic weekend for the NASCAR Cup Series at Darlington Speedway. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Very interesting race in this one. This would be the biggest track that NASCAR would bring the new increased horsepower and downforce package to Darlington, the biggest track. It's technically kind of like an intermediate track. It's smaller than a mile and a half track like Kansas, but it's a lot bigger than a Martinsville or a Richmond. Let's just say that. So Tyler Reddick would start on pole, leading the way to the green flag. His teammate at Bubba Wallace would actually be up front with him on the front row. However, this race would be dominated by the Fords of Brad Keselowski and Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing, because Brad Keselowski would come back late in stage one to win both stage one and would win stage two as well. Meanwhile, Tyler Reddick was battling some electrical and voltage issues in his car. Reddick was dealing issues with his cool suit. He couldn't actually turn on the cool suit, otherwise it would drain the battery. He had to replace a battery in that number 45 car. So it was getting hot in that car. Reddick was fading late in stage two, had a bad pit stop as well, had to spend extra time on pit road with an alternator issue as well. So Reddick had an uphill battle in this one as he kind of faded out of the top 10. Meanwhile, Keselowski, Chris Buescher worked their way up to the front at the end of stage two. Ryan Preece was also up there as well. Kyle Larson led some laps as well. But in stage three, after a caution for a spin by Riley Herbst, who was having a phenomenal day, by the way, a career day in the Cup Series for Riley Herbst, we will get a restart after 6 cars elected not to pit and stay out. I believe they were the 17 of Chris Buescher, the 3 of Austin Dillon, the 71 of Michael McDowell, the 97 of Shane Van Gisbergen, and I believe as well, I think it might have been Connor Zilic. I can't remember exactly who it was that did stay out altogether. Oh, Ty Gibbs stayed out. Daniel Suarez stayed out as well. And I believe those were the guys, that, all the 6 drivers that stayed out. I believe that's 6. Whatever. Anyways, 6 drivers just elected to stay out on the racetrack and not pit. Chase Briscoe would actually get the lead off pit road among the drivers who pitted. Brad Keselowski, I believe, dropped 3 spots. Reddick I believe, was still in 5th place, so he wasn't exactly starting towards the front of the field, but he was up in the mix in there as well. So after that restart, Chase Briscoe began moving his way forward. Chase Briscoe, who started deep in the field in this one, just didn't qualify very good. But Chase Briscoe, so good when it comes to Darlington, got up to the front, was leading some laps, working his way forward. But Brad Keselowski was working his way forward as well, along with Chris Buescher, who was one of the drivers who pitted, faded a little bit early in that run, got back up to the front, was holding off his teammate of Keselowski and some of the other drivers that decided not to pit. Meanwhile, Tyler Reddick was also making a hard charge forward. Reddick, it looked like, found like a second wind almost, even though he was battling through a lot. No cool suit, very hot in the car, the hottest race of the year. But man, he was fast. And it just looked like that Reddick, uh, despite being in traffic, was able to work his way forward, unlike some of the other contenders like Keselowski, like Chase Briscoe, who ended up fading towards the end of the run. So, and it ended up being Tyler Reddick who would take the victory, even though he only did not lead the most laps in this one, did not earn the most stage points. That went to Brad Keselowski, who was probably the one of the best cars all day. However, it was Tyler Reddick who had the fastest lap of the race. A 30 flat around Darlington Raceway was absolutely incredible to see. That was incredible. He actually kind of tied with his teammate Bubba Wallace, who started on the front row as well. But I mean, I'm gonna give it to Reddick here because he's the one that actually finished in first. So yeah, Tyler Reddick, an incredible charge forward, had to battle through a lot, ended up taking the victory. Keselowski so close to getting another victory. Finished in second. Blaney in third. Hocevar in fourth. After kind of having a quiet day, Austin Cindric had another solid finish in this one. P5. Ty Gibbs did not have a good qualifying effort, but worked his way forward. Finished in sixth. Daniel Suarez, his really good start to the season, continues with another top 10. Byron, Buescher, and Jones finish out the top 10. Eric Jones, another guy who did not qualify very good, but Eric Jones knows his way around Darlington, a 2-time Southern 500 winner. Eric Jones is very good at Darlington, so unsurprising that he got a top 10. And then Hamlin and Briscoe just outside the top 10. Ryan Preece in 13th. SVG held on to a 14th despite being on older tires. And then Chase Elliott rounds out the top 15. And then some notable names outside the top 15, like Christopher Bell, has been a little inconsistent to start out the year, finished in 19th. Oh boy, not a good one for Christopher Bell. And then Kyle Larson in 32nd. I believe he was involved in a crash. Excuse me, I apologize. I want to correct myself on that. Kyle Larson got into the wall, broke a toe link, had to spend a lot of time on pit road repairing it. Did get back out on track, but just was not able to recover. Another costly mistake by Kyle Larson, costing him another good finish in the Spring Darlington race. It happened last year too. He was not good last year. He wrecked out early, was able to get back out on track, but spun several times. It was just not the race for Kyle Larson. I believe in 2022 he wrecked. 2023, I believe he wrecked as well. So, and 2024 too. So, like, Larson and the Spring Darlington race do not go together. So, yeah, that is very unfortunate for Kyle Larson, who started inside the top 5, finishes all the way down in 32nd. Joey Logano, a previous winner here, in 33rd, did not have anything going on in this one. 33rd, not a good one for Joey Logano. And then Bubba Wallace down in 34th, Riley Herbst in 35th. Herbst actually had a good day, started in 14th, and then Bubba Wallace got caught up in a spin, I'm pretty sure. Uh, I think it was an Eric Jones, Denny Hamlin spin. 3 Toyotas all kind of got together. Wallace ended up hitting the outside wall, broke a toe link, and Bubba was just kind of putting around the rest of the race in that number 23 car. So, congratulations to Tyler Reddick picking up his 4th victory of the season here at Darlington. Chris Buescher as well kind of got screwed over by Tyler Reddick once again. Reddick kind of bumped Chris Buescher out of the way once again at Darlington to get to the lead. We saw this happen, I believe, 2 years ago in 2024. Reddick knocked Buescher out of the way into turns 3 and 4. They both hit the wall, cut a tire. That allowed Keselowski to get to the front and take the victory in the throwback weekend. But I believe Chris Buescher once again got screwed over by Tyler Reddick racing for the lead. Reddick just knocked Buescher out of the way, and Reddick would walk away with the victory once again. So tough luck for Chris Buescher. Still looking for that first win of 2026. His first win, I believe, since 2023. He's been looking for. It's been a long time for Buscher. Still looking to snap that winless streak. I'm not going to give a race review rating for this one. Just there'd be no point for it. So we're just going to go ahead and move on over to the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. I did not get a chance to give the race recap for Martinsville, their Martinsville race weekend, which was once again won by Justin Allgaier, making it, I believe, five in a row on the season for Junior Motorsports, going all the way back to Circuit of the Americas with Shane Van Gisbergen picking up the victory, followed by Allgaier at Phoenix, Larson at Vegas, and then Allgaier again at Darlington, and then Allgaier picking up the victory once again at Martinsville. So congratulations to Justin Allgaier, making it five in the row on the year for JRM, picking up his third victory of the season. Real quick, looking at the top finishers, Corey Day, another technically Hendrick Motorsports car. I mean, like Junior Motorsports, Hendrick, they're kind of out of the same shop, so I guess we can call them teammates. Corey Day finished in second. He's looked really good to start off his rookie year, I will say. After kind of a interesting start at Atlanta and Daytona, he's kind of found his footing. So really good run for Corey Day. Sammy Smith as well. He's been good at Martinsville in the past. Finishes in third. Sheldon Creed finished in fourth. He's technically another Hendrick aligned Chevrolet. So there you go. Lee Pulliam, I think I'm saying Pulliam. I don't remember. Driving the number 9 car, another short track ace, Dale Earnhardt Jr. putting in that car. So top 5 finish, really cool for him. I don't know very much about him, unfortunately. I do know that he is a short track ace that Dale Earnhardt Jr. put in that car, which Dale Jr. has done before. So really cool story. Top 5 finish for Lee Pulliam. Austin Hill in 6th. Dean Thompson, how about him finishing in 7th for Sam Hunt Racing? Ross Chastain in 8th for DGM Racing in the 91. Ryan Sieg in 9th. And then Brent Cruz getting a top 10 with Parker Retzlaff, Jesse Love, Taylor Gray, Brendan Poole, and Anthony Alfredo rounding out the top 15. Some notable names outside the top 15. Brandon Jones in 18th, started towards the front in third, finishes in 18th. I believe he had to pit due to damage because I believe there was a big pileup in this Martinsville race. So unfortunate there. Sam Mayer in 23rd. I believe he had to pit late in the race before a restart, could not get back forward. So 23rd place finish for Sam Mayer. Raja Caruth and Harrison Burton both outside the top 25. Caruth in 25th, Harrison Burton in 26th, Carson Gvapel as well in 28th, and then the rest of the order, looking at it here, those are pretty much all the big names. I believe there was a big wreck that took out Burton, Caruth, Kvapil. Sam Mayer had to pit late with damage, so Walsh and Jones had to pit late as well, so that's why they weren't up towards the front, but Jones was up at the front a good amount of the time. Sam Mayer was as well. Caruth was starting on the front row, led some laps. Same with Harrison Burton. Finished in 26th, though. So unfortunate for those guys, but Justin Allgaier would pick up the victory at Martinsville once again, making it 5 in a row for Junior Motorsports. Then moving on over to Rockingham, just this past couple days ago, this past weekend, in the Truck Series, Corey Heim driving part-time once again for Tricon Garage in the one truck, picked up the victory once again, making it his second and only, I think, his third start of the year. Finishes in first. Caden Honeycutt in second. His teammate Lane Riggs in third. Finally got a good finish, exactly what Lane Riggs needed. Stuart Friesen in fifth, and then Grant Enfinger rounding out the top 5. Tyler Ankerman sixth. Corey LaJoy driving in his first start for Calling Racing in that 10 truck, finished in 7th. Ty Majeski in 8th, Jake Garcia and Cole Butcher, a trio of ThorSport trucks, finishing in 8th, 9th, and 10th. Sammy Smith driving for Spire Motorsports in 11th in the number 7 truck part-time. Haley for Calling in 12th, Christian Eckes in 13th, Landon Lewis in 14th, another good run for Landon Lewis, and then Dawson Sutton finishing in 15th to round out the top 15. A couple big names outside the top 15. Tanner Gray, who started on the front row in 16th. Gio Ruggiero in 17th. Ben Rhodes, former champion, finished in 18th. Ty Dillon outside the top 20 in the 25 truck for Calling. Minnie Tyrell in the 2014 truck, finished in 25th. Brendan Queen struggled in this one as well. Daniel Hemrick was outside the top 20 as well, so he finished in 24th. And then besides that, Andres Perez in 32nd. Adam Andretti getting another start for Tricon in the 5 truck, finished in 35th. And then Carson Osvar driving part-time for Spire in the 77, finished in 34th. Yikes for Carson Osvar. And we don't want to talk about yikes. Chandler Smith actually was disqualified from this one, finished in 36th, I believe, after the ride height for his truck was found to be too high. So Chandler Smith was disqualified after post race inspection, and he had finished at the back end of the field. Not what Chandler Smith needed to hold on to his points lead. I believe he actually lost the lead to Corey Heim. So we'll have to check that out coming up very, very soon. Very, very soon. But there you go. Corey Heim picking up the victory from Rockingham Speedway. And then after the Truck Series, we move on to the O'Reilly Series from Rockingham as well. William Sawalich would pick up his first win of his NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series career in the number 18 car. Picks up the victory from Rockingham. His teammate Brandon Jones right behind him in second, but then we just get a stretch of Chevrolets in that top 10. Allgaier, Caruth, Cavapel, Creed in uh, second all the way, or excuse me, third all the way through sixth. Taylor Gray in the seventh. Parker Retzlaff in eighth. How about Parker Retzlaff, who started up towards the front, started third, finished in eighth. Ryan Sieg, another good day. Corey Day actually started from the pole, led over 100 laps in this one, led the most laps out of everyone, I believe. Yes, he did lead the most laps out of everyone. Finished in 10th. Austin Hill, Sammy Smith, Harrison Burton, Brennan Poole, and LeVar Scott would be the 11th through 15th range. And then some big names outside of the top 15. Brent Cruz finished in 26th, Jesse Love in 27th. And then looking at the rest of it, Cleese McFarland in the field as well. His first career NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series start. I mean, I was expecting a lot worse, and Cleese McFarland didn't do as bad, I would say. He finished in 32nd. Wasn't exactly great, but, Cleus McFarland, he didn't cause too much trouble, unlike Catherine Legg did in this race 1 year ago. But, he kept it clean, almost spun out, made some good saves. Yeah, I think he did spin out one time, though. So, Cletus didn't really run up front, wasn't a threat, but he didn't really cause any major issues in this one. So, I mean, I can't say I'm surprised that Cletus finished in 32nd, but, I'm glad that Cletus didn't really cause too much of a big problem in this one. And then Sam Mayer, oh boy, finished in 38th. I believe he had a mechanical issue in this one, so that's why he was at the back of the grid. So tough break for Sam Mayer. Back-to-back rough weeks, not what he needed in this one. So congratulations to William Sawalich. Broke the streak for Junior Motorsports and Chevrolet in this one. Gets his first career O'Reilly Series victory. So I'm happy for William. We'll see if he can continue riding this wave of success into the next couple of weeks. One more thing before we get to my NASCAR Cup Series power rankings here. I know we were kind of speeding through this, but kind of have to make this episode somewhat short in this one. So, anyways, I want to talk about the NASCAR Hall of Fame debate that has been kind of going on this past week. Uh, there's been a lot of big names involved in this debate, mostly Dale Earnhardt Jr., TJ Majors, the co host of the Dale Jr. Download, and then Travis Rockhold, the producer of the Dale Jr. Download. Kenny Wallace was in this one as well. Freddie Kraft, one of the hosts from the Door Bumper Clear podcast as well. Denny Hamlin was in this one, because, I mean, why not? But this all started on one of the episodes of the Dale Jr. Download with Dale Jr. and TJ Majors doing their usual thing. But then producer Travis Rockhold was kind of late into this conversation when the class of 2027 for the NASCAR Hall of Fame, which was led by Kevin Harvick, being opened. The conversation kind of, started when Rockhold, took a stance that some guys in the lower series, i.e., not Cup Series drivers, should not be allowed in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Meanwhile, Dale Jr. was taken aback by that, kind of surprised by that, and took an opposite stance on that, while TJ Majors kind of took the side of kind of taking a neutral side, I should say. And then after that episode came out and the public kind of reacted to it, Kenny Wallace, former NASCAR driver, threw his opinion behind behind Rockhold, kind of supported him. And then Freddie Kraft backed Dale Earnhardt Jr. And then Denny Hamlin also got involved in this one on his Actions Detrimental podcast. And Denny did kind of support what Kenny Wallace and Travis Rockhold are standing on here, that drivers in the lower series should not be allowed in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. And he's basically said that, the Hall of Fame is the pinnacle of your NASCAR Cup Series, your NASCAR career. And those who get to the pinnacle racing series of NASCAR, the Cup Series, should be the ones in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. So guys that are Xfinity champions, Truck Series champions as well. Those are the guys that shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. So I don't know. That was very interesting to hear kind of this debate going on. I don't have much to offer when it comes to this debate. I feel like I have no real like weight in this conversation. But if I just had to offer my opinion and my thoughts on this, I do agree with Dale Jr. I do think that guys that were successful in the O'Reilly series and in the Truck series, guys like Ron Hornaday, guys like that should be allowed in the uh, NASCAR Hall of Fame. I mean, several guys have made careers out of just driving in the Truck Series and been very, very successful, made names for themselves. Same with the O'Reilly Series, and then sure, the Cup Series guys, the Cup champions, they all make it there and are elected into the Hall of Fame eventually. But I feel like the guys in the Truck Series, like they should be given some amount of respect for what they've done in that respective series. Like I know they haven't gotten to the pinnacle series of NASCAR, being the Cup Series, but still, it's very impressive to know what they have done in those lower series, made a name for themselves, become household names in that series, made that series what it is to have those other drivers follow behind them. Like if Corey Heim, doesn't really pan out in the Cup series, like if he goes back to the Truck series, we've seen him dominate. So I mean, are we gonna say that Corey Heim, like in like a decade or two, maybe 2 decades at this point, when it's time for him to be on the Hall of Fame ballot, you look back at maybe him not doing well in the Cup Series, but, making a career out of it by having many championship seasons in the Cup Series, like, we're not gonna look at that and say that, Corey Haim's not a Hall of Famer. I know that's kind of maybe, a little bit of a bad analogy, but you get my point here if you're looking at it that way. Corey Heim, I feel like, if he does have that kind of career and he does win several championships, has a Kyle Busch kind of Truck Series career, and I mean, Kyle Busch, while racing in the Cup Series and being a champion, has simultaneously become one of the best Craftsman Truck Series drivers in history. So, I mean, what are you gonna say to that, I guess? So, I guess that's a little bit of a bad analogy here, but I still feel like that guys like Allgaier, who I think was kind of like the main topic of this conversation, like I feel like Allgaier is kind of like a fringe guy for the Hall of Fame, like just to use him as an example. Like he's won an O'Reilly Series championship. He's gotten a lot of race wins in the series. He's been there for a long time. He's done the work there. He's grinded out that series. He's made it his own. He's become a household name in that. I mean, he's kind of like a fringe guy. He would probably have to win like another championship for me to be like, okay, we can seriously consider him to be in the Hall of Fame. Like, it's like more so, yes, he's in than he's not. He's more on the he's inside than he is the not inside, I guess, is to use him as an analogy. So, anyways, I thought I'd weigh in on that debate. It's a little bit of an interesting one. I encourage you to go check it out. It will be on the Dale Jr. download, and then Denny Hamlin, his Actions Detrimental podcast, where he weighs in on this debate. So I encourage you to go check it out. But that's my little take on the Hall of Fame debate in the NASCAR world. All right, with that all out of the way, though, it is time to move on to my latest edition of NASCAR Cup Series Power Rankings. I didn't make two Power Rankings lists since I missed 2 weekends, both Darlington and Martinsville. I just made one for both of them, so it's definitely very interesting. I kind of combined them into both of them. Have a couple names moving in, a couple names shuffling around a little bit. We'll see where your favorite driver ended up in this latest edition of my NASCAR Cup Series Power Rankings. So let's go ahead and take a look at them. I have 3 honorable mentions here to start off this power ranking segment: Austin Cindric, Chris Buescher, and Joey Logano. All 3 of them had one really good race out of these 2, and then one kind of, mid race overall. So let's start with Joey Logano. Had a pretty abysmal Darlington race, was really, really bad, but then came back the next week at Martinsville and finished 3rd. Like, it was a good one from Joey Logano, just not quite enough to put him back inside my top 10. I do have him out this weekend once again, so he would have probably been out after Darlington. He's still out after Martinsville, even though it was a 3rd place finish. I just got to see a little bit more consistency out of Joey Logano before I can really put him back inside my top 10. It was a good weekend, though, at Martinsville, finishing in 3rd. It just hasn't been there consistently for Logano to be back inside my top 10 yet. Then Cindric, he had a good, kind of okay Darlington race. he had a pretty solid one, finished inside the top 5. Martinsville was inside the top 10 once again, but before that wasn't very good. So again, it just got to be there a little bit more consistently for Cindric to get inside my top 10, but he's been on a little bit of a hot streak as of late, so we'll see how Cindric does in the next weekend coming up at Bristol. And then Chris Buescher had an incredible Darlington race weekend, was up front. He did lead some laps, and that's what I've been asking for when it comes to Chris Buescher, but he kind of fumbled the bag again when we came to Martinsville. Finished a lap down, finished in 16th, was just not good enough to get inside my top 10 once again. He's just like right there. Chris Buescher is just right there. He's knocking on the door. Like, he's pounding on the door at this point. It's just, I can't put him inside my top 10 yet. I just can't. Not when his teammate of Brad Keselowski, who I have at number 10, has been showing a lot more speed as of late. I mean, Brad Keselowski, he hasn't qualified good. He's been kind of horrendous when it comes to qualifying, but he's been able to grind out good finishes ever since Phoenix. Finished 15th at Phoenix, 10th at Vegas, 2nd at Darlington, came so close 2 weeks ago at Darlington, and then this past weekend at Martinsville finished in 13th after starting outside the top 20. So Keselowski's getting it done. He's getting those spots. He's grinding out the finishes. If he could just qualify better, that would be great. I mean, it was the same storm for Keselowski last year. Couldn't qualify, but had good speed everywhere else. That's what really cost him when it came to making the playoffs last year. Now making the chase this year, though, it's really working out for him because, he's getting those good points and getting those good finishes. So I've got Keselowski in my 10th position. We'll see how high he can climb in the power rankings going forward. At number 9, I still have Ty Gibbs. He actually moved up one spot in this one. I mean, Ty Gibbs, he's had pretty solid race speed over the last couple weeks. Darlington finished in 6th. Now, let me just actually go over his last 5 finishes in the NASCAR Cup Series. Coda finished in 4th. Phoenix 4th. Vegas 5th. Darlington 6th. And then back up to 4th at Martinsville. That's 5 straight top 10s in the last 5 races for Ty Gibbs. He's been very, very good over the last couple of weeks. He hasn't necessarily been up front all the time. I point to Darlington and Darlington as the big one there. He started outside the top 20, was able to grind out the finish like his teammate of Briscoe. But Gibbs has been good. He's shown good speed. I hate to say it, but it is the first win for Ty Gibbs right around the corner. We'll see. So Gibbs at number 9. At number 8, I got Kyle Larson dropping all the way down from number 3 in my last one. Oh boy, what has happened for Kyle Larson? I mean, he really it really started at Darlington. I mean, getting that 32nd place finish did not help him at all. And he was up front, he just kind of fumbled the bag late in the going, made a costly mistake, finished outside the top 30. But besides that, Larson's been consistent. He's been a consistent top 10 guy pretty much this entire season, besides Darlington and besides the super speedways. But he's been good. He's been solid. It just hasn't been that elite Kyle Larson level we've wanted to see and we've come to expect when it comes to Kyle Larson every given week. We just haven't seen that yet. So he's been good. He's definitely a top 10 driver in the Cup Series right now. Top 5, that's a little bit of a stretch right now. Maybe he'll get back on track at Martinsville, a track that he dominated only a couple years ago. So we'll see how Larson does moving forward. So I got Larson at 8. At number 7, I still got Christopher Bell, moving all the way down from number 4. Big drop for Bell. I just don't know what to think of Christopher Bell. When he's good, he's good. It just hasn't been the elite Bell yet. And then you mix in some of the inconsistency out of Bell. I mean, 19th at Darlington, one of his better tracks, a track that he's won in the O'Reilly Series. I just don't know what to make of it when it comes to Christopher Bell. Again, good, just not great. He's gotten 4 top 10s in this one. Those last 4 top 10s have come in the last 5 weeks. But still, those 4 top 10s have been really, really good. And prior to Darlington, he was on a stretch of 3 top 5s. He's looking for that next top 5, though. So, heading to Bristol, we'll see how Bell does. He's won there in the past, though it was on dirt, so we'll see. But right now, I got Bell in the top 10 at number 7. He's definitely a top 10 driver. Top 5, like Larson, maybe a little bit of a stretch right now. So I got Bell at number 7. At number 6, I got Bubba Wallace. I mean, Bubba has been really good this season. He just hasn't been earning those finishes. Hasn't been getting those finishes consistently enough. 36th and 34th to those last 2 finishes, not been very good. But he's shown really good speed this season. I know he's 11th in points. He's only got 4 top 10s, no top 5s yet. He's still so good. He's been very, very good. He's been qualifying up front. He's been really good on Saturday. He just hasn't shown the speed on Sundays, and the finishes haven't been there. So I like Bubba. I kind of want to put him back inside the higher up on the list because I feel like number 8 was being super disrespectful for him over the last couple weeks. I wanted to move him up a couple spots because he's had good speed. Just can he finish is the question. Can he finish is the big question for me. So I got Bubba at 6, but hopefully he'll be able to stay there. Otherwise, maybe moving down the rankings very, very soon. At number 5, I got William Byron. Had another good finish at Martinsville. Finished inside the top 5, 8th at Darlington, 3rd at Las Vegas, and then 7th at Phoenix. Like, he's been good. After kind of like a interesting start to the year, he's been finding his stride. He's back up inside the top 5 in points. He's quietly having a top 5 standing season so far. So he hasn't been just leading a lot of laps yet, which, is a little bit concerning. But he's earning the stage points. He's up front. He just hasn't been up competing for wins yet, like we all expect William Byron to do. But across the board, Hendrick Motorsports has been down. Look at Larson, look at Byron, look at Elliott. I mean, Elliott was the guy that really woke it up for Hendrick Motorsports. And it's Chase Elliott? Like, really? Anyways, I got Byron in 5th. We'll see how he does at Bristol this weekend. I got faith in him, though. He's definitely a top 5 driver in the sport right now. But he's definitely more of a fringe guy going forward, so we'll see. I got William Byron at 5. At number 4, I got the most recent race winner, Chase Elliott. I mean, Chase Elliott, he's smooth, calm, and consistent. That's what he is. That's truly what he is. He'll be finishing in the top 15 pretty much every single race of the year, besides Phoenix. Phoenix in 23rd, kind of a yikes, but he's had really high highs, but then he's just kind of had kind of mids, and then a really low with Phoenix in 23rd. Like, last 5 finishes, 7th at Coda, 23rd at Phoenix, 2nd at Vegas, 15th at Darlington, and then won Martinsville, even though he wasn't probably the best car at Martinsville. He just kind of got lucky, got the clean air, and was able to do a little bit of defensive driving. Not to knock Chase Elliott, he's been very, very good, but he wasn't the best car at Martinsville at all. He wasn't. But what you're getting out of Chase Elliott is consistency. Is he a top 5 driver in the sport? I don't know. He's definitely a top 10 guy. I just don't know about top 5. But I have him at number 4 for right now. We'll see if he'll be able to hang on to that at Bristol this weekend. So I got Elliott at 4. Number 3, undoubtedly a top 5 guy. I got Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney right now 2nd in points for a reason. He's got a victory on the year so far. I believe he got it. It was at Phoenix. Yeah, it was at Phoenix. Came back to win that one. Blaney's been good. He's had, again, really high highs and a really low, I guess. So Blaney's been good. He hasn't finished outside the top 20 very, very much. He doesn't have a very good pit crew, though. That's something that really concerns me moving forward. He's lost the lead a lot because of his pit crew, but he's been able to rebound, so that's what you get when you get Ryan Blaney behind the wheel. Last 5 finishes, 6th, 3rd, 16th, 1st, and then 8th. He's been good. Ryan Blaney, long run Ryan Blaney. He's been very, very good. Only got 1 stage win, though. A little bit concerning. Hopefully, he can get some more stage wins moving forward, but I got Blaney at number 3. At number 2, I got Denny Hamlin. Hamlin, he's still been very, very good. Was up front at Martinsville, was the fastest driver at Martinsville, ran the fastest lap. I believe led the most laps as well. Hamlin's been good as well. Finished 3rd. He's been in the top 3 in the standings for a while now. Darlington was kind of like the blemish on the last 5 races, which is kind of surprising because Hamlin's won there in the Southern 500, but was kind of an off day for Denny Hamlin at Darlington 2 weeks ago. But 2nd at Martinsville, 11th at Darlington, 1st at Vegas, 5th at Phoenix, and then 10th at Circuit of the Americas. And we're heading to Bristol, a track that he has done very well at in the past. He's dominated that track kind of like Kyle Larson. We'll see how Hamlin does. He's a king on concrete. Look at Dover last year. Look at Bristol. We'll see how Denny Hamlin does moving forward, heading into Bristol. So Denny Hamlin at number 2. But at number 1, it is still Tyler Reddick. I mean, Reddick overcame a lot at Darlington to get that win. His 4th win of the season, the winningest driver. 1st in points, 4 top 5s, 5 top 10s. He's been very, very good. His only I believe, top 10 of the season, I think he has 2 actually, was Las Vegas, where he finished in 13th, and then Martinsville at 15th. So Reddick, he's been very good, very consistent, finishing in the top 15 pretty much every single week. Reddick's been good, so that's why he's the number 1 driver still in the sport right now. Winningest driver, deserves to be number 1. So going back through the top 10 for Darlington and Martinsville, Tyler Reddick at number 1, Denny Hamlin at 2, Ryan Blaney at 3, Chase Elliott at 4, William Byron at 5, Bubba Wallace at 6, Christopher Bell at 7th, Kyle Larson in 8th, Ty Gibbs in 9th, and Brad Keselowski rounding out the top 10. And then the honorable mentions being Austin Cindric, Chris Buescher, and Joey Logano. But that'll do it for this episode, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of my power rankings. Let me know what you thought of the episode as well. If you haven't followed the show, go follow if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. If you're listening on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Really helps out the channel. Like the video as well if you're really liking it as well. Share it with your friends, your family. I really encourage it as well. Help expand the show, grow it even more. And if you like what I'm doing over here, go check out Talking Sports with Miles and Andrew, the sports show that I co-host. Go check it out. A lot of fun that me and Miles have over there. It'll be linked in the description, the YouTube channel, and the Spotify page as well. So go check those both out if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next episode, everyone. Take care.